to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing us on how to make a simple armless pencil dress. It is the easiest thing ever. I'll be using stretchy material for today's tutorial, and I have 1.5 yard of fabric with me. So I'm going to fold along the stretchy part of the material. I'll be folding into two. Like this. And I'm going to fold into two as well, making into 4. This is how to fold your fabric into 4 whenever you want to cut for the front and the back bodies together that will not have a zipper. So I'm going to place on my table. First of all, I'm going to check if my folded fabric is going to be enough for me. The biggest circumference of my body is my hip. My hip is 52 divided by 4 is 13 inches. Because this material is a stretchy fabric, I won't be needing any ease at all. Then I will also be needing 1 inch seam allowance to join the front and the back bodies together. So in total, I'm going to be needing 14 inches. This is my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch to join the front and the back bodies together, making 14 inches. So I have more than enough. My shoulder measurement is 17. 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. But because I am drafting a armless dress, I'm going to minus 1.5 inches away from my shoulder measurement, which will now give me 7 inches. You can minus 1 inch if you like. You can minus 1.5. You can minus 2 inches. You can minus even 2.5, depending on your preference. So at the shoulder line, I'm going to measure 7 inches. I'll be using neck width of 4 inches. Neck depth for the back, I will be using 1 inch. Neck depth for the front, I'll be using 6 inches. With my armhole curve, I'm going to curve the neckline. This is for the back. Then this is for the front. At the shoulder measurement, I'm going to measure down 1 inch for the shoulder slope. With a straight ruler, I'm going to connect to the neck width. From the shoulder slope, I'm going to measure down 8.5 inches for my armhole depth. My armhole depth is 9 inches, but because it is armless, I'm going to reduce it with half an inch. You can reduce it with half an inch or 1 inch, but I'm going to reduce with half an inch. That's 8.5. I'll measure what I have here. 7 inches. I'll also insert it here. to help me determine a straight line. Then I'll connect from the slope to the armhole depth. My bust measurement is 45. 45 divided by 4 is 11 and quarter. So I'm going to measure 11 and quarter. With 1 inch seam allowance to join with the front and the back bodies together. Shoulder to my waist is 17 inches. My waist measurement is 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. Because it is a stretchy fabric, I don't need ease allowance. Then 1 inch seam allowance to join with the front and the back bodies together. Shoulder to my hip is 25 inches. My hip is 52 inches divided by 4 is 13 inches. So I'm going to measure 13 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance to join the front and the back bodies together. The length of my dress is 45 inches including seam allowance. This is my 45 inches. So I'm going to draw a straight line. To get the pencil shape at the down part of the dress, I'm going to minus 2 inches from my hip measurement. Remember, at my hip line, my hip measurements that are inserted at my hip line is 13 inches. So I'm going to minus 2 from it, which will now give me 11 inches. So at the down part of my dress, I'm going to measure 11 inches. Plus 1 inch seam allowance to join the front and the back bodies together. So the next thing for us to do is to connect the shape. I'm connecting from the bust to the waist with a straight line. Then with my hip curve, I'll be connecting from the waist to the hip. Then with a straight ruler, I'll be connecting from the hip to the down part of the dress. Let's move to the armhole. I'm going to measure what I have. I have 8.5 inches. The midpoint of 8.5 inches is 4.25. So I'm going to go in for the front bodice with 3/4. With my armhole curve, I'm going to curve out the shape. This is for the front armhole. Then for the back armhole, from the midpoint, I'll connect to the bust. Then this is for the back armhole. Before cutting it out, I'm going to measure 1/2 inch for the shoulder seam allowance to join the front and the back bodies together. 1/2 inch shoulder seam. Then I can cut it out. I'm cutting the back neckline first. The shoulder slope. I'm cutting from the down. I'm cutting the back armhole first. This is how it looks. Then I'm going to remove the back bodice. Then I'll cut the front armhole with the front neckline. I'm cutting the front armhole. front armhole, then with the front neckline. It's as simple as ABC. This is the back bodice, and this is the front body. So I'm going to place the positive sides together, facing each other. I'm going to join at the shoulder first with 1/2 inch, then the 1 inch seam allowance that we left by the side, I'm going to measure 1 inch and sew 1 inch down. I'll do the same thing at the other side, sew 1 inch down. At the down part, I'm going to fold it twice like this. I'll fold in 1/2 inch and fold another 1/2 inch and sew it straight down. I'll do the same thing to this other side as well. I'll fold in 1/2 inch and fold another 1/2 inch and sew it straight down. After sewing it, I'm going to use bias strip to finish up the neckline and the armhole. This is the final look of the dress we just made. As you can see, it is very easy and lovely. You can decide to also wear a kimono jacket on it to give it another style. We've come to an end of today's tutorial. If you find my tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you've not done so. Remember to also click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. I upload weekly tutorial on my channel. Also, follow me on Instagram at Otis Culture and join other like-minded fashion designer on our Facebook group, Seamstress Zone. Until I come your way, please stay safe and remain blessed. Bye.